Honestly, he's happy. I didn't even realize that. We kind of made him happy. I'm gonna keep that. That was horrific. I don't know what I've done to him, but he's not happy anymore. Hey everyone, so today I wanted to show how to draw in C#. This also works exactly the same in VB.NET. We're gonna be using the graphics class to draw some images, some text, some lines, rectangles, and how to fill them. It's just gonna be a lot of great fun, and I hope you enjoy the video. And if it helps you out, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would really help the channel out. But yeah, that's about it, and let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is open Visual Studio, and then we're gonna click Create a New Project. And here, we are going to create a new Windows Forms app in C#. And we're just gonna name our project Drawing Test. And from there, we get a blank project. So here, I'm going to make this some kind of uniform size. I'm thinking 1024 by 768, I think are the number. And just rename this form main, draw for fun. All right, so now we have our form that we're gonna draw to. We can, just for fun, go ahead and change the background color to black. And I'm just gonna go ahead and run it so it kind of saves the project and stuff. Okay, so now we have our form that we would like to draw some stuff to, right? The first thing we're gonna need to do is handle the paint event for the form. When the form is drawing itself, it's gonna call this paint event, and then inside of that, we're gonna get a handle to the graphics object, and then we're gonna paint the form ourselves. What we do here is we declare a new graphics object, if I can spell, graphics g equals e dot graphics. So now we can do some cool stuff like filling a rectangle, which this is drawing a rectangle, like what you would think with it filled in the middle. The other draw rectangle, this will draw the border outline of a rectangle. Well, to do this, we're gonna need a brush. So if you come here and you open parentheses, you see brush. So we're gonna create a new brush. We're gonna call it my drawing brush and set it equal to new solid brush. And we're gonna say color dot blue. Can I do like Cheyenne? I like Cheyenne. There we go. Now this is gonna require my drawing brush. So it knows to draw a Cheyenne rectangle. Well, it also needs the coordinates for that rectangle, and we can pass those as a rect object. There is another option where you can just put the X, Y, width, and height here. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna say 50, 50 for the X and Y. And then honestly, we'll just make it 50. We'll go ahead and say 100. 100 for the height, 100 for the width. So it's more of a square rectangle. And there you go, you get the blue square. And now if you move the form around and stuff, it's still drawn in the same place, because as the form repaints, it continues to paint the rectangle. So now I'll show you the other way to draw a rectangle, which is draw rectangle instead of fill rectangle. So with this, we need a pen. So think of the brush as your filling tool, and then the pen is what you use to draw lines. And to draw a rectangle, you're just drawing 4 lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my drawing pen and set that equal to a new pen. And we're gonna pass that color dot. Let me see, I think that's going to need some capital letters. Color dot, just like that. Okay, so we're gonna pass that my drawing pen. We're gonna put this one at 100, 100, and we'll make it 50, 50 as far as the height would go. And we're gonna draw that out and see how that looks. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It ends up putting that inside of our other rectangle. So I'm gonna go ahead and push it down a little more and over a little more so that they're not inside of each other. We could go ahead and say we wanna draw the sun. So we're gonna try to like make a little scene, and I'll show you some other tools and stuff along the way. First, we're gonna say draw ground. And we're gonna make this brush brown. Okay, so here's the thing. So if I wanna draw the ground, I'm gonna need a brush. And then if I wanna draw the sun, I'm also gonna need a brush. So I'm gonna call this my drawing ground brush. And then I'm gonna call this the sun brush. And I'm gonna make the sun yellow. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. You don't have to declare 2 new brushes. You could change the brush as you go when you're drawing the different objects. You could just do new brush here, but I wanted to show you this way first. Okay, so we're gonna go fill an ellipsis, which is gonna be a circle, and we're gonna use the sun brush to fill that. And that circle is gonna want an X and a Y and a width and a height. And we're gonna put the sun on the left side of the screen. So we're gonna say 10, 10, and we're gonna make it 100, 100, because that seemed like a pretty good size. The 50-50 looked kind of small. Now, for the ground, we're gonna do my drawing ground brush, and we're gonna start it at the 0x. We wanna start on the far left, and the Y is gonna be this dot height minus, we'll say 100, and we'll see how this looks. So, all right, so we have our sun up here, and then we have the ground here, but it only goes over 100. Here, for the height, we still want that to be 100, but on the width, we're gonna say this dot width. So we want it to start at the far left and then go all the way across. That's some red looking ground we got there. So sandy brown, let's see what that looks like. That looks better. It's almost like a sandy beach, but yeah. As far as our little scene goes though, we'll continue on from here and do something a little fancier. Let's see. We've got the sun, we've got the ground. So we're gonna try to draw a person, which is gonna be an entire little project, but I think we'll figure it out. So we're gonna draw a line that's gonna be his body, and we're gonna put him at, well, first we're gonna say our person is not gonna be pink. Our person is gonna be white. I don't think we're actually using the pink anymore, so I'm just gonna comment that out. And we're gonna say my drawing pen. So we're gonna draw him as white, and the line is gonna need a point. So I'm thinking this is gonna be his body, and he's gonna be, we'll just say 800 and 810. I'm just gonna have to feel this out instead of trying to come up with the coordinates. It does not like that. They need to be point Fs. So new point F. And then that needs an X and a Y, which totally makes sense. I was so focused on the Y. All right, so there's the Y, and then for the X, we're gonna say 400. And now for this one, we're gonna do same thing, new point F. Point F stands for like a float. So the actual numbers inside of here are floats, as you can tell by this tooltip. So it's gonna be basically from 800 to 810 as far as the Y goes, and then 400 for the X. Okay, 800 is too far down. We need to start at, say, 600 and go to 610. Okay, so that puts the person on the screen, but they are very sideways. So we're gonna take this and change it to 400 for their X. And now they're just a little stick right there. So if we bring that down a bit, and we make that 640 instead of 610, we kind of get a little body stick there. All right, so we know the bottom point right here is going to be that 400, 640. So we're gonna say torso, and then we're gonna try to draw a leg. Draw a line from, okay, so we need to give the leg a color, and that's gonna be using our pen. Copy and paste our pen in there. And now this is where it starts. And we're gonna say leg 1, leg 2, all right. And for leg 2, we're gonna do, it's gonna start at the same exact position. I'm probably going to butcher this on my first try. For leg 1, we're gonna want the X to move over a little. So say 410. And then the Y is obviously gonna have to move down a little, so 660. And then for leg 2, we are going to want to do the opposite of that. So it's going to want to end a little shy of where we started, so 390. And then as far as the Y, we also want them to be the same length, so we'll have it come down to 660 as well. So we're gonna give that a run, and there we go. Now, it would be really cool if his legs actually came all the way down to the bottom. So I'm gonna just play with these numbers real quick and see if 680 gets us down to the ground, and it does. So that's pretty cool. Now, if we could give him some arms, that would be awesome. Let's see. So we're gonna do arm 1 and arm 2. So his arms are gonna start kind of midway down his torso. So we're gonna say it's gonna be 400 for the X where they start. And then the Y is gonna be 610. Then we're gonna have them just stretch straight out. So it's still gonna be 610 for the Y because we're not gonna have his arms like slanted or anything. They're just gonna be straight out. So this arm is gonna go to 410. While arm 1, which I already have a comment for, is gonna go to 390. And we're gonna give that a run. And that's a little T-posy. You know, I don't really like how that looks, honestly. I'm going to say, first, his arms need to be longer. Let's see what they look a little bit longer. Okay, I like that better. And then we're gonna drop them down to 600. I think they do need to be a little slanted. Honestly, he's happy. I didn't even realize that. We kind of made him happy. I'm gonna keep that. That was horrific. I don't know what I've done to him, but he's not happy anymore. All right, so let's put the top of his torso back where his head should be, and it was kind of awful. It's actually the Y that I needed to change here. Okay, that's a little rough too. All right, 597, we're calling it there. That looks like a good neck to me. So we're gonna go ahead and draw an ellipsis, which is how you draw a circle. Now with that, we're gonna use a pen, and we're gonna say my drawing pen. Now we need to give this a location. So I would say the X needs to come back a little as well. So we're gonna say 380 to move the X back a little. And for the Y on that, we're gonna wanna move it up some. So we're gonna go 577. And then we're gonna say a rectangle, let's see. And we're just gonna give it our 4 points. So X, Y, width, and height. And now we run it. Okay, so he has a head, it's just in his hand. So that's not great. Let's try to shift it over a bit by moving the X over a little. So we'll say 390. And his head is almost where it's supposed to be. Let's try 392. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go as far as 394. That's too far. Maybe 393. That looks pretty good to me. Now let's move it down a little. Let's say 580. Oh, that's almost there. He just kind of has a little bit of an issue. 582. That looks good. He looks pretty solid to me. And there we have a person. Really, I think if you just come back here and we change this background to blue, background to blue. That is blinding. I apologize. We'll do teal. That's a pretty cool little scene where you have your person that we've drawn out. And that shows how to draw lines and ellipsis. So you can draw some circles and then a filled circle or filled ellipsis. And then we've got our ground down here that's drawn by a rectangle. Now, I'm going to scrap all of this and we're gonna go with a different scene. We're gonna try to use some images. So I've got this cool little image here that I'm gonna try to draw as the background. To do that, we're gonna say draw image. And then that is gonna require bitmap.from file c/drawing/background.bmp and then point new point 00 because that's where we're gonna draw it. And we're gonna run it. And there we go. Okay, so it draws the image. The problem is that our form and the image aren't the same sizes. So I'm gonna see if we can stretch that image. I'm pretty sure we can by doing a new rectangle. 0, 0, and then we want me.width, this.width because this is C#, this.height. We're gonna run that, and now we have the image stretched over our form, which is perfect. That's what we were looking for. Okay, so now I've got some other little images here that are kind of cute. I've got a cat, and I've got a chicken. I have to look at it. And we got a chicken. So we're gonna try to stick the cat and the chicken on the scene. So we're gonna do draw image bitmap.from file again. And we're gonna say, here we're gonna do cat.png because these are PNGs instead. That's gonna have just a point because I'm just gonna let it be whatever size the PNG actually is, which I may regret if it's actually a really big PNG, but you know, we're gonna roll with it. So we're gonna put it at 100, and that's pretty big. Okay, we're gonna shrink that. So if I come and look at the image and I go to details, you can see the dimensions here, 498 by 292. So I'm going to use a multiple of that. So I'm gonna say 250 by 150. That's not perfect, but it'll look okay for our example. I would recommend just dividing those two in half and using the actual numbers so it scales properly. And I'm gonna go a little bit smaller than that. Let's see, 125 by 75. And there we go. That looks more reasonable. And I want to put it somewhere else so it's not just kind of off center. So 490 and honestly 450 here. That's super close to where I want it. 470 to 510, just kind of like, we're not quite there yet. We're so close though. 470, 480, 530, something like that. Okay, so I want to make the X a little more, 550. That's almost perfect. 490, 560, right? All right, so we got this here, which I think is pretty cool. Now I'm gonna try to put the chicken over here, and we're just gonna add a comment here that says this is the cat and this is the background. Oh, and I should probably show you something. So, okay, right now the code is executed in this order. It does this line, and just keeps kind of going down top to bottom. I'm sure you're used to that concept. So what happens is you draw the background first, and then you draw the cat, and drawing the cat second draws it on top of the background. But if I were to put the cat drawing first, the background would actually draw over the cat. So with that, you're gonna run into issues if you don't layer your drawings correctly, where some drawings are on top of others and you don't even see it, which can be very useful if used correctly. If I were to have done this in the wrong order, then it would look like, you know, I'd be sitting here asking, why isn't the cat drawing? After the cat, we're gonna draw the chicken, and then I think that'll be about it for now. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and say chicken.png, and then we're just gonna push it over a little. We'll say 600 from the cat. That is not enough, so we're gonna say 650. That's still not enough. 720. Yeah, okay, so now it's kind of like the cat is chasing the chicken. That's really it. Just for fun, I have one more thing I want to do. I don't know why, but I want to draw a line. And I think it's gonna add a lot, even though it's just a line. Oh yeah, okay, so let's see. My drawing pen, and then we're gonna go from the cat's location, new point F, cat's location, so X and Y, plus the cat's height, which is 125, and then the Y is perfect. And then the other one is going to be the 720 plus 125, so 845, which is going to be the right side of the chicken, and also 490. So that was the top. 490 needs 75 added to it, so 565 if I can math well. So okay, cool. That's generally the idea, except our X needs to start at 560. Boom. Okay, and then I'll drop it down a little. 565. I just thought it'd be neat to have a little line. Man, this turned into a whole project that I apologize for. We'll do that same. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I just felt like adding a line there. Anyways, so that's just kind of how you can draw a couple of different things on the scene. The last thing that I'll show how to draw is text, because that's kind of an important one. People like to draw text. So we're gonna say g.drawString, and we're gonna pass that run. Then we gotta pass it a font and then a brush. We're gonna make a new font. So here I'm gonna say font my drawing. Font equal new font. I'm gonna say Arial and 16. Now we have a new font. With that, we are just gonna pass in my drawing font. And from here, we're gonna next pass a brush. So I'm gonna say the My Drawing Sun brush, so it's yellow. And then here a new point F, because this is where I want it to be. And honestly, I think it'd be cool if it was under the line that I just added. So on the Y, we're gonna say 580. That should put it just under that line. And we're gonna run it now. And there we go. And just to be cool, I'm gonna add 3 of these, and we're gonna keep increasing their X to 600 and 640. And we're gonna keep doing that to 640 and 690. And that's gonna be 740. Okay, they're not exactly lined up, but you kind of get the idea here. Yeah, that's about it for drawing images. You are gonna run into some other issues if you do start trying to use this to like create a full-fledged game when it comes to animation and stuff like that. It gets a little more technical, but if you're just trying to make something for fun, the graphics object is definitely a cool way that you can go about drawing stuff, and you can create your first little game. You can also use it to create new controls and stuff like that, or maybe you want to use this to draw on top of a group box or something. If you just want to add an image or something somewhere that the .NET controls don't allow you to do, then this is a way that you can draw on top of those controls. Anyways, this class is super useful, and I just wanted to share it with everybody, and I hope this helped you out. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would really help the channel out. But yeah, that's about it for now, and I'll see you in the next one.